this is going to be episode 1 of the American Gooners Network, my own podcast. This is an Arsenal podcast based in America. My name is Stefano, and this is dedicated to all the Gooners across the pond that are here from America. Not necessarily just geared towards you guys, but maybe an American perspective of someone who is an absolute diehard Arsenal fan, and doesn't live anywhere near where the actual team plays. And I know that is sacrilegious out there in England. You either support your local or you support whoever your dad supports, which could be counterintuitive if your dad grew up not supporting his local. So I know a few people, a couple of my English friends have broken that rule per se. One of my teammates who is a Liverpool fan despite growing up in Oxford, and his father is actually an Arsenal fan. So go figure. But little introduction to this podcast is this is just something I wanted to start for the longest time, as I'm very passionate, very passionate about Arsenal. The games will honestly either elevate or destroy my weekends, and then depending on CL or FA Cup or Carabao Cup, Leagues Cup, will ruin my week until the next game, and they can hopefully mend all of the damage that they have done to me. So today, 1-1 draw with Brentford. Not really. I mean, the league's been gone for a couple weeks. I know a lot of us sort of were clinging on for hope that Liverpool would slip up, and honestly, they've been fortunate. They've been great. Don't get me wrong. One of the best Premier League seasons I've seen from Mohamed Salah. Not the greatest Premier League season I've seen out of an individual player, as a lot of Liverpool fans would be happy to say. Tend to disagree with that, but a lot of penalties, a lot of tap-ins. I digress. But yeah, so today's game isn't really what I'm here to talk about. We'll start from where I wanted to originally start recording the podcast, which was international break. We just cannot seem to ever avoid players getting injured on international break. Calafiori, I'm Italian. Italian in America. So, the teams I root for, as of late, as of the last few World Cups, it's been kind of depressing. Italy failing to qualify. Arsenal podcast. So Calafiori gets injured. This is the second time an injury like this. If you guys have seen the video, which I'm sure you have at this point, the second time this has happened. I love the guy. I have his kit. This was the first one I got for this season because an Italian on Arsenal, I have the Jorginho kit. Gotta get the Calafiori kit. I was happy to see him join. I did recognize that he had an injury riddled history. Relatively injury free last season. I don't believe he missed any time due to injury, actually. The season prior to him joining us, and with Bologna. But I mean, this is, I believe, his third major injury with us, if I'm not mistaken. So he unfortunately got injured over international break, and Gabriel, we thought we were in the clear. Got a yellow card, was suspended for the match. against Argentina. Come back, rest up a little bit before the Everton game, right before, the Fulham game. And we thought things were good. The Fulham game happens, and who gets injured within the first 20 minutes? If you ask me, he has been our most important player this season, right there next to, I would say, Rice and Raya. So I think clearly he has had the better season of the two when it comes to him versus Saliba. He is the aggressor, people say, of the two, while Saliba is the Rolls Royce and picks out passes, everything like that, keeps everything tranquil at the back, while Gabriel is the one that is jumping in challenges, getting cards, everything, proper Barclays lad, and yeah, another hamstring. I don't know what is going on. I agree with Mikel Arteta. It is an absolute miracle at this point that we are in second place, and I think that a lot of the pundits and people that are criticizing Arteta, they have maybe one valid reason to critique him, which is his lack of squad rotation. But the squad rotation, I can't put 100% on him, especially when we go to Dubai, which I guess is going to be a yearly thing now. And depending how you look at it, I don't know if it's a net gain, net loss. This year certainly wasn't. Last year it was actually fantastic for us. But Kai Havertz, hamstring, gone. Had to get surgery. Obviously, we know Saka had hamstring issues. Martinelli, since he's come back, I think he is overly judged. I think people are very harsh on him. He's a very direct player, and he's since coming back from injury, I think he's looked quite sharp. He's been a few had a couple of outstanding performances in my opinion. And against Madrid, I'm hearing a lot of people criticizing him very harshly as well. I don't think it was deserved. I think he did his job. I just don't think the ball finds him as much when we have Saka on the pitch, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when he gets his chances, I genuinely believe he does take them. Now, granted, he doesn't have the GA that everyone so desperately looks for, but I grew up not on Foot Mob. I grew up watching the game. Stats, depending on how you look at it, they tell a story, but not the whole story, in my opinion. So, going to the Fulham game, decent result, ended 2-1. We dominated the game. They had a few chances. I mean, it's the story of our season. If we had a number 9, this game probably ends 3-0, 4-0. We just allowed them a chance, just a little sniff in the 94th minute, and it was all right. But I was wrong about Mikel Merino. I was wrong about Mikel Arteta putting him in the number 9. I thought this was an absolute joke. I was calling for Calafiori to go up top. I was just calling for Trossard to go up top as well. I don't understand the... we've had Trossard go up top at times when even Kai Havertz was in the team, and I thought it's worked quite well. So I was a little surprised that Mikel Merino was starting up top, and he has been excellent. He has been fantastic. So very, very happy with that decision. And our star boy, of course, within 6 minutes, Saka on the pitch, goal. And the Martinelli flick, oh my goodness. See, like, this is what I'm saying. Martinelli has that in him, and I think that critiquing him, as we all have, Arsenal fans have done, I don't know if it's all reasonable, in my opinion. Like I said, I get the GA has gone down, but he also plays in a system, which is the issue with GA nowadays, because you look at Liverpool and they rely so heavily on Mohamed Salah. So obviously his GA is going to be through the roof, because that is their system. He is their system. This year, he is their system. You look at players on Man City, not the goals aren't necessarily distributed amongst the wingers, the striker. Everything goes through Haaland. And the way that most managers, unfortunately, sometimes, including Arteta, want to play is just Pep imitation ball, and there is a stifling of creativity that is involved with that. It's unfortunate. The number 10 has kind of been phased out over the years, and that's why our creative number 10 has literally been playing so deep. Martin Odegaard at times is dropping below the 6th position. Like, I mean, and also, like, yes, his injury was a major impact on our season. But since he's just appeared quite off since returning from injury, I'm not sure if he's 100% fully recovered. But something just doesn't seem right, and he is our captain. I don't like how a lot of the fan base is getting on him. He's been there through some pretty tough times, and I will continue to back my captain. So I know that the talent that he has is there. Last season he was, in my opinion, I would say our most, because I always have this debate, who's the most talented versus who's the most important, and I think Saka's the most talented on our team, but Martin Odegaard was the most important, especially last season. Anyway, so we get through that game. The refereeing in the Premier League has got to be one of the absolute worst in the top 5 leagues. The Tarkowski red card that wasn't given, that they then, I mean, talk to an Arsenal fan about red cards this season. Yes, I get it. But, I mean, you look at this was the week after, but yeah, the Tarkowski red card. That was, I get it. I'm a defender. But I am a defender, so I know what was going through his head in that moment. He clearly won the ball, and I am of the age where the defense of why you did what you did was you got the ball, but that's not what's necessarily in the rule book. If you go through the ball and you commit a challenge like that, which I don't know if all of you have seen it, I'm sure whoever is watching this has found themselves in the absolute depth of football, soccer podcasts, so you've clearly engulfed yourself in a lot of soccer topics, and I'm sure you've seen this. So yeah, that was horrendous. He went through the ball and he knew that he could keep going because he won the ball, and that, I mean, I guess that's what his thought process was. That's what mine would be. I mean, you win the ball, but it's in a very, 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 very dangerous manner. Yeah, so I mean, should have been suspended for the Arsenal game. PGMOL came out and agreed. So, but But yeah, so we win the Fulham game. Fast forward the next week. I mean, absolutely egregious. This Fulham ended up winning, which was good for Arsenal's title chances. But at this point, are we? So yeah, this is the still image of after Kelleher takes out Rodrigo Munoz and Pereira and Van Dijk body checks Munoz. Yeah, no, VAR decided that that was okay. All right, whatever. I might just sound like a bitter Arsenal fan, but seriously, the refereeing in the Premier League has been an absolute atrocity, especially when you compare it to the refereeing in the Champions League, or I would say honestly, the Bundesliga has probably the best and most fair refereeing from a I would say Bundesliga, then probably Serie A. Not trying to be a biased Italian fan. Um, Obviously, we've had our fair share of scandals, but in modern football, I feel as though the the average referee in these matches, average refereeing has been much better than the Premier League. I don't know what it is. They also haven't implemented. Well, they actually did today. Implement semi-automatic offsides, which is ridiculous that the Premier League hasn't had that for as long as it's been invented. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, does that not date back to the World Cup in 2022? I'm not really sure, but yeah, this also wasn't even the only clear and obvious error, which is the terminology that PGMOL uses for their VAR. That's how you overturn an on-field decision. Van Dijk just threw back an elbow on a corner kick. No worries, completely fine. Sander Berg was the one that was unfortunately on the receiving end of that arm to the face. But Van Dijk for years has only received one red card and kind of skated by with all these other decisions. When it comes to the title race, at this point, I fully accepted the fact that it's over. I fully accepted the fact that it was over weeks ago. But hey, in hindsight, Arsenal don't draw that game against Everton, which, how is that a pen on Miles Lewis-Skelly? Please explain to me. Even Jack Harrison immediately gets up because he knows that's not a pen. And I think that the sort of reputation that Miles Lewis-Skelly has at the moment is that he's a reckless, dirty player, and I don't understand. I mean, one of his red cards have literally been revoked, and the other one was a clear tactical foul. So I don't know, it's beyond me, but I just feel bad for this young 18-year-old who's been absolutely firing on all cylinders and been honestly one of our best players. And the fact that he's now that he's earning a reputation of being this reckless, dirty player that is always going to put you in a bad situation and could be a liability even though he's kind of playing out of position through all of the youth games that I've watched of him. He's played in the midfield area, only due to injuries has he, which I mean has affected us all season long, and which is kind of ironic because at the beginning of the season it looked like we had an infinite amount of left backs, and then you see them all starting to either fall out of favor with Arteta or drop due to injury. But yeah, I mean, we see Arsenal potentially win that Everton game, and we see Liverpool completely drop points even with all of their shenanigans that they've pulled, and the table looks slightly different. But again, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, title race is over. The Champions League is what I've been looking forward to, but also very hesitant of watching, and very nervous because this basically determines the rest of the season. We have nothing else to play for, so it kind of makes the rest of the season a little bit more somber, if we get knocked out. But in general team news, Andrea Berta, very happy, Italian, announced as sporting director, and former Atletico Madrid sporting director, and he replaces Edu, who I would categorize I would put him in the same category as Zinni, Gabriel Jesus, even Aaron Ramsdale, all these people that have gotten us from banter era Arsenal. I mean, obviously Mikel Arteta, but I mean, we're not moving past him. I'm nowhere near a Mikel Arteta out person. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people are. Look at the first team he had and then where he's taken us. I understand, second 3 consecutive years in a row might bother people, and on paper it looks like, oh, okay, they're not progressing, they're stagnating, but this season, quite unfortunate. Last season, I feel as though that could have been our year, but anyway, Andrea Berta, a couple of his notable transfers at Atleti, in my opinion, was Jan Oblak, who in 2014 came over for $4 million, and same thing in my opinion, is one of the top 5 keepers in the world, one of the most underrated keepers in the world. Constantly, he's a stalwart for Atleti, and for €4 million over 10 years ago, and he's still one of the best in his positions. Fantastic bit of transfer right there. And even Antoine Griezmann, he was sold for $120 million and then re-signed for $20 million from back from Barca. So and he's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic for Atleti. You could say the worst of times was when he was actually at Barca, but I wouldn't necessarily say that. He kind of was a flop at Barca. Additionally, Luis Suarez, when everyone thought his career was over, $5.5 million. Atleti end up going on to win the La Liga title. So there you go. And obviously, he's had some misses over the years. No sporting director is perfect. And you look at the transactions of Thomas Lemar or even Joao Felix. Not the best, but it shows initiative. It shows that he was willing to go after these players that top clubs were going after, and have the ability to sign them. So that's something that I'm looking forward to, and I hope that he brings to the table as Arsenal sporting director. When it comes to transfer rumors and transfer talk, uh, we need to sign a number 9. That's very apparent. Some of the forward options that we have are Jokeris, Sesko, Ekitike, Isak, and Cunha, as well as Nico Williams. Now, out of those, Cunha, Williams, obviously a winger, and a lot of people are looking to replace Martinelli with him. I wouldn't necessarily say I am 100% in on that. I'm still maybe a Martinelli apologist. I love the guy. So anything where he kind of loses some minutes here and there, I'm a little against, but I'm always looking to improve the squad. So if we can genuinely find someone like a Kingsley Coman, who is also recently in the transfer news as of late, I don't see him starting over Martinelli, and almost see him similar, but similar to Sterling, which I was very, very, very against. Yeah, so I don't know. You look at some of our midfield options. So we got Zubimendi, who is currently in contract talks, allegedly, with us, and Nico Williams is more of a winger, but some of the defenders, we got Dean Huijsen and Jarell Hato. So we'll get into them each individually. So yeah, Andrea Berta, welcome to the club. I hope this is the start of something fantastic. So yeah, Jokeris, just to go in a little bit of detail about him. We were looking to sign him before we were looking to sign him before the start of the season. The Sporting were asking for like over 100 mil, which for someone of his age, not necessarily the youngest, obviously in his prime right at the moment, is a little ridiculous to me. And yes, he was playing in England before, not for a top side, and he also is producing a lot of goals. I believe just about a goal a game, but it's not even in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, although arguable, because is the French league really a top 5 league? And then that goes to the Eredivisie, or it goes to the professional league in Portugal. But yeah, there's rumors that Sporting would be willing to accept 50 to 60 million, which I would be much more keen on signing him than Benjamin Sesko. For, if I'm not mistaken, they're asking for about 70 million. Yeah, 70. Okay. Well, there he goes right on the screen. They're asking for about 70 million, which is more, and he is he is very unproven. I believe he has more potential, but we look at what United have been doing and signing based off potential rather than someone in their prime. I don't think they've signed a striker in their prime, I'd say like over the age of like 25 since, is it Lukaku? I believe that's true. So yeah, I think we're much more in the market for someone that's just going to come and make an instant impact. So between the two, I would choose Jokeris if it's actually true that they're willing to accept 50 to 60 million for him. Isak, it's looking like he's going to stay at Newcastle. I mean, if they get Champions League football, like, I don't see him leaving. And there's potential that Liverpool are probably going to swoop in if they don't. And they're going to have, I don't know if you would say a better chance, but Arsenal, if they're smart, would not spend 150 mil on this guy, because you need to also put your money elsewhere because of our potential outs. So, it was laughable at left back that we had like 10 players that were capable of playing there, and then add in now MLS, who has emerged and is actually taking the starting role. So, you got like Tierney, Zinni, Tomiyasu, who's going to be. Tierney and Zinni are probably out. To Celtic and Zinchenko, thank you for your service, but unfortunately, I just don't think he has a role to play in this squad anymore. Jorginho and Partey also, it's looking like they're on the out as well. Jorginho to Brazil and Thomas Partey to, I guess, whomever. And it's a shame because I genuinely think he's been one of our best midfield players. Next to Declan Rice throughout this whole year. I think he played fantastic in the Madrid game, which we'll get to later. But yeah, Gabriel Jesus, who more than likely would have left since he's going to be injured, is probably not going to leave, and same thing with Tomiyasu. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say Isak is the answer. And in my personal opinion, Mateus Cunha is definitely not the answer. Fantastic player, having a wonderful season. Crazy hot-headedness, reminds me of Olivier Giroud. But he's not an out-and-out 9. So that's what we've been crying out for. Granted, Kai Havertz has been doing a fantastic job, even though he's not an out-and-out 9. And we probably aren't in the position that we're in if... I mean, maybe we are, because Mikel Moreno, who's also not an out-and-out 9, is playing up top for us. But yeah, no, we've been crying out for a striker, like someone like Hugo Ekitike, who, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have not watched as much of him as I have watched of the others, but as of recently, after Marmoush has left, he kind of has taken this team and stepped up in his role. And I watched the Tottenham game, which was this was awesome, this celebration. And he played quite well. Got himself a goal, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were looking for 80 million, which he's younger, again unproven, and in the Bundesliga, signing a Bundesliga striker who's not named Erling Haaland is always a risk for Premier League sides. Just based off I feel like I could score 20 goals a game, 20 goals a season. Sorry, in the Bundesliga, it's almost like they don't play defense. Sometimes when I watch it, and that's not a slight on the Bundesliga, which it most certainly sounds like. It's just the game is a lot different. Watching Premier League games versus Bundesliga games, neither one is better. I would actually argue that Bundesliga games are more entertaining. But a lot of strikers like Timo Werner, and even though Kai Havertz was on Chelsea and now he's bumped up his numbers, a lot of Chelsea fans would say that he struggled to adapt well to the Premier League again. I don't necessarily believe that, but Chelsea fans. Martin Zubimendi, as we all know, has been in contract talks allegedly and has been an Arsenal target. 26-year-old deep-lying midfielder who played very well at the Euros, and if you recall, was heavily linked to Liverpool up until basically deadline day of last year, before the season started, and chose to stay with Real Sociedad. I would definitely, regardless, I would like to see him in the squad, as Thomas Partey's likely to leave. Although it's a shame, I would have loved to see them play together, or at least, have some rotation so that we don't have these injuries that we've accrued this season. Nico Williams. Now, it's come out that he potentially is going to reject Arsenal. And in that case, David Ornstein actually said that a good backup option to him is Anthony Gordon, of whom I am very surprised is as I wouldn't necessarily say underrated. I feel like if you watch him play and you're around the Premier League, like you accept the fact he's a very, very, very good player, and I also think he should start for England, but that's just my opinion. He has played very, very well this year. Has I mean, you just compare the two. Like I said, I'm not a huge stats guy, but for all the people that are, I mean, these stats speak for themselves. If that's what you're looking into, yeah. Because like Nico Williams isn't necessarily a stat guy, but when you watch him play, like he's very fluid and is potentially something that Williams left, Saka right would be very intriguing for me. But Anthony Gordon, he's already proven in the Premier League, knows the Premier League well, plays for a top 6 side in the Premier League, and I wouldn't be opposed to that, honestly. Looking at Dean Huijsen, who a lot of the fan base is very attracted towards. My dad's a Juve fan, and the fact that they let this guy walk for, if I'm not mistaken, 15 or 19 million, and go to Bournemouth, who intelligently put a 50 million release clause on him, not even knowing what his value would skyrocket to later on. They could have probably even gotten more. Is absolutely insane. So Madrid's interested, Liverpool's interested, we're apparently interested, but I mean, if we could get him, I know what everyone's gonna say. Yes, Gabriel Saliba. Because look at look at all the injuries that we have had. It's always good to have rotational options, and yes, he's 19. He's gonna probably want to be playing for playing game in, game out. He would likely get that opportunity at a place like Chelsea, if Chelsea's smart. But I mean, they have 40,000 players on the books. But in my personal opinion, he's more talented than any center back that they have. So I think a place like Chelsea, he would start. Madrid, they're looking to potentially integrate him into the squad, and then eventually one day for him to start, as he is of Spanish heritage. So yeah, I mean, if Madrid come calling, what are the odds? Hopefully they only call for him and not Saliba, as we all are quite concerned about. The final player was Jarell Hato, who has spoken very highly of Jurrien Timber and his transfer from Ajax to Arsenal and how versatile of a player he's become. And out of all the players, he is unfortunately the player I've watched the least. But I do know at the age of 19, similar to Dean, same thing as Dean, he is very, very, very talented, very gifted, and has a lot of potential. But we will see. We will see where this goes. So now, Madrid. Oh my goodness, the anticipation to this game, the build up to this game. I was watching edits. I know all Arsenal fans have seen all these edits. I was hyped. I went into the game. This is the most nervous I've ever been to watch a game in my entire life. I'm sitting there. I'm in my Arsenal third alternative black goalkeeping kit. Heart's racing. Watch the first half. Oh my God. Thibaut Courtois, you absolute animal. This man, he does it every time. Every game I watch him in the Champions League, he is the sole reason Madrid have been not the sole reason, obviously, but uh, I guess he's been a major reason, because without his goalkeeping ability, they don't win any of their Champions Leagues, the last two Champions Leagues. He is incredible, absolutely incredible. So, I mean, triple saves, double saves, saves off the line from Alaba and Jude Bellingham, who, by the way, thought he could come into the Emirates and tuck in his shirt. Yeah, okay. I love Jude, but Kieran Tierney, that's his thing, buddy. So yeah, you just went into it and you're like, oh my god, this is Bayern all over again. And it was gonna take something special to beat him. Little did I know. Little did I know. I mean, just no worries. We all know what happens next. Second half, Declan Rice steps up. Roberto Carlos in the building. Puts in an absolute screamer. Absolute screamer. You know, I'm thinking that Saka or Odegaard was going to end up taking this free kick, and it was going to be across in the box, and then maybe a header, and then Courtois probably does like a double handstand backflip quadruple save. But no. Oh, my God. Mimics Roberto Carlos's free kick, obviously with the inside of his boot. And absolutely beautiful. Oh, my God. I am screaming. I am going crazy. And then 12 minutes later, on the opposite side, so I just saw one of the best free kicks I've ever seen in my entire life. One of, not the. I still wanted to, give it to Dimitri Payet's goal. And then I see the greatest free kick that I've ever seen in my entire life. Declan Rice, to beat Courtois, who is inarguably Madrid's player of the game, who you were not getting past, and then he just does this. You could not have placed it with your hands in a better position than that. Oh my God. It took two absolutely incredible, spectacular efforts to get past the Madrid keeper, and we did. I'm absolutely buzzing. This game's going great. I'm watching this, and boom, wrong again. Mikel Moreno, I didn't think that you should start up top, and what do? Prove me wrong again. Scores an absolute striker's finish for a center mid. Fantastic. Elated. We're up 3-0 on aggregate. Arteta has reiterated it multiple times. It's only halftime. Job's not done. And honestly, yes, if it's anyone that would come back, it would be Madrid. Modern Madrid. So I'm not one to write them off, and especially since the second leg's in the Bernabeu, and apparently Fiorentino Perez said that there's something extremely special that they're doing. I don't know, maybe some voodoo magic before the match. So we wait to see. Wednesday. Courtois had the absolute game of his life. Kiwior, wow, thank you. He had a little hairy clearance, and I thought, oh my God, here we go. We're really going to be missing Gabriel. And then Kiwior played an outstanding game. Thomas Partey's game also severely under the radar just due to how good Declan Rice was. But he had a fantastic game. Saka as well. Martinelli, I think, had a great game, even though people say they were a little disappointed with his performance. And Miles Lewis-Skelly, hats off to you, lad. 18 years old, absolutely bossing it up in Madrid with a double nutmeg on Valverde and Camavinga. Holy crap. What a player, what a talent. I am so impressed with this kid. Absolutely so impressed with this kid. As it relates to today, woke up early, got to see City go down 2-0 due to a Chris Richards header. And then, yeah, they came back 5-2. Very unfortunate. Arsenal goes 1-0 up against Brentford. VAR, Ethan Nwaneri's assist revoked. Kieran Tierney's goal taken away. And then great counterattack started with Raya. Rice, who's been playing in the 8, and I think I was skeptical, same thing, of Arteta playing him in the 8. I was always skeptical of, I've been skeptical of a lot of Arteta's decisions that have ended up working out, including the David Raya. I was very against that, but I was proven wrong. Yeah, so Rice from the 8 carries the ball the length of the pitch and assists Partey for a goal. So great. And then Wisa scores, and it's 1-1. And it's the draws in the league that have been killing us. We've only lost twice, but so many draws. I mean, league's gone, but just to recap what happened today. Liverpool play tomorrow, but it's all for naught, honestly. Like, congrats to them on winning the title. And let's look forward to Wednesday. So, thank you for listening. This has been episode 1. I am very grateful to anyone that has tuned in, if any. And I hope to continue doing this and hopefully make a video about our eventual victory. Or, I mean, as long as we advance. We could lose 2-0, but please, Arsenal, don't give me the heart attack. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it if we could just, I'll take 0-0, but just make the game very stress-free. So, yep, that's it, and come on, you Gunners.